All right, whatever. So I'm doing an ABU test. I got an ABY pedal recently, but it's kind of janky. I'm not really set up for this. So I got this microphone here to try to get my voice, but it's pretty directional, so I don't know. Mark 7, JP, both going into separate Mesa cabs with Bayer dynamic M201s set up on each. They're pretty close, but obviously it's not going to be exactly identical, but what are you going to do? This is what I got. Both have Fort and Zool going through the loop. But I've got this ground hum going on. Maybe you can hear it, maybe not. It is what it is. It's not going to affect how the amps sound, but I tried to dial the clean channels and channel 3s on both of these to be kind of similar. So we'll see how that goes. But anyway, I'm just going to start with the cleans and we're going to play stuff. So I'll start on the JP, and I'll switch over, and I'll let you know when I'm switching and stuff. So JP clean. Mark 7. So something to note, I've got the presence on the 7 all the way down, and on the JP it's probably 2/3, 3/4 of the way up. And the 7 is way brighter. I mean, I think you can hear that right off the bat. I'll switch over to fat mode on the 7. Doesn't really tone down the brightness, but it adds some heft to that register, that section of the frequency. Back to clean mode. So you can see how less boomy that low end is. Anyway, let's switch to channel 2. Channel 2 on the JP, and then on the 7 I'm on crunch mode. Settings are relatively similar. I have a little bit more presence on the JP. So I'll start over there on the JP. Switch to the 7. Again, more presence. The 7's a little brighter. I find this to be the case on all the channels. The 7's just brighter. It's a little bit tighter than the JP, and more. It sounds more like what you would expect from a Mark series. So it's channel 2. I don't really use this channel too much. I mostly stay on 3. Also note on the JP, the shred mode is off right now. I'll turn it on in a little bit, but for now it's off. Because I think the amps compare better when shred is off. So channel 3, JP. Settings again are kind of similar, but the presence is way higher on the JP. It's above 3 o'clock, like 3, 4 o'clock. On the 7, it's closer. You know, it's around, from my perspective, like this way. Whatever time that is, 10, 11, 10:30, somewhere around there. Yeah, so JP channel 3. Switch to the 7. So there's that. Same deal. It's brighter, it's tighter. It doesn't have whatever that low mid thing that JP has. I think is specific to the JP, because I haven't really experienced that in the 4s or the 5s that I've had, and it's not here on the 7. It seems like a JP thing, which, you know, kind of is what it is. I'm gonna turn on. So 7's on 2C mode right now on channel 3. I'm gonna switch it to 4. And I'm going to turn the shred on the JP. So now JP channel 3 shred on. Four on the 7. I forgot I brought the EQ up a little bit on the low end for channel 2, but or for the 2C mode. But when you switch to 4, it naturally has more low end, so it doesn't need to be bumped to high. So I just brought it back down. Back to JP. Back to the 7. All right, so I don't know, there's so many modes in the 7, it's hard to do like a full demo comparison on all the modes, because all the modes don't really compare necessarily to the JP. You know, the JP's a 2C plus reissue, supposedly. But I think the 2C mode on the 7 naturally sounds pretty different. You could dial them to be kind of close, but the 7, you know, it has naturally, it's just brighter, it's tighter. You can adjust the low end more on Mark IV mode than you can get out of the JP. I don't know, they're kind of close. Also, the Mark VII, like I said, has that classic kind of Mark kind of sound, that scratchiness in the mid-range and the high end, you know, that you hear on all those classic Mark 2C Plus records from the 80s and 90s. I love both amps. They're different amps. They do different things. The 7 doesn't have the shred mode, which I really personally like. On the JP, I've heard a lot of people don't necessarily like it so much, but I like it. And I've played both with the band, and the JP does a great job. I found the 7 is just clearer and sounds better overall in a band context. With the JP, when I try to get the same level of high end and presence out of it as the 7's capable of, it starts to hurt a little bit on the ears. So there's more balancing that has to happen with the JP. I think it's not as easy to I don't know, you're more limited in the range and the controls that sound good, at least to me. You know, everybody has a different experience with this stuff, so you know, this is all my experience and what I'm working with here. But yeah, I love both amps, and I will use them both for different things. You know, the JP with the shred on, it has a much more modern tone. It can get a lot closer to like a 5150 kind of thing. It's not a 5150, right? So it's not exactly going to do that sound, that belligerent over the top distortion, but it could get in the ballpark, close enough at least. If you want to have the JP and have that kind of flexibility, that you know, you may want to push the distortion in different ways from the classic Mesa Mark series sound. But I think if you're buying a Mark series, whether it's the JP or the 7, you want that classic Mesa Mark series sound. And if you're looking for that, I think the 7 is a better option. So just depends what you want. Different amps do different things. They both sound great, and they're different enough to keep both. That's it for now.